Okay, I came across something very interesting. Um, what's his name? I forgot his name already. Um, Michael J. Burry. Michael J. Burry from, uh, the guy that predicted the crash of the housing market in 2008, right? The hedge fund manager. He has left Twitter. So he recently had tweeted something he got in the news a little bit ago, and that's kind of what I was looking into when I found this. He was in the news for shorting Tesla stock, right? And so I was like, oh, that's interesting because I've been looking at stocks and different investments and stuff, and I always thought Tesla was really good, but it has been a really exponential looking curve lately, which is a bit of a red flag. Um, and then I watched a video where he tweeted about it. So I found out he had a Twitter. I didn't even realize he had a Twitter. So I went and found his Twitter. And there's something really interesting on his Twitter now. So I'll show you here. I'll bring it up here. He has left Twitter, essentially, and he refers to himself now as, I don't know how long he's been referring to himself as Cassandra, but this is his official account. It is 228,000 followers. He refers to himself as an amateur dissident. Social media empire order 66 executed. So he has, in a sense, executed himself. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Social media empire order 66 executed, followed by hashtag boycott Twitter, hashtag boycott Amazon, hashtag boycott Facebook and Instagram. So here's what I think is going to happen. And he left a link to YouTube, and we'll get to that. Boycott Twitter, Amazon, and Facebook. Now, why Amazon? I think Amazon because Amazon had the servers that shut down Parler. So I think that, he's followed by some of the conservatives that I follow, Dinesh D'Souza, PragerU, Donald Trump Jr. So he wants to boycott Twitter, boycott Amazon, boycott Facebook and Instagram. And I imagine it's and referring to Order 66, which is the Purge of the Jedi from Star Wars. Okay. Now he is somehow comparing conservatives with Jedi. And is this that far off? I'm a little buzzed, by the way. Is that a little bit far off of the mark? Well, I say if Jedi are anything, they're libertarian. Because conservatives care a lot about family. That's a big central core of conservatism is family, where family is not the path of the Jedi. The Jedi, can't have emotional ties because it would, get in the way of they're more like monks. But anyway, I digress. Where a libertarian really it doesn't put family first at all. It puts individual first. Like libertarian, it's almost solely focused on the individual, personal freedom, personal liberty, all that stuff, right? Maybe that's closer to what the Jedi are, but the Jedi are somewhat altruistic too, and libertarians seem to be lacking altruism at all. They're more objectivists, right? Comment below. I'm probably wrong, so feel free, comment below. But what's really interesting here is he has wants to boycott Twitter, boycott Amazon, and he says social media empire order 66 executed. So that would the order 66 is from Star Wars. It's the Purge of the Jedi. It says it's a social media empire order 66. So there's a purge going on of sorts. And if you've seen some of the Project Veritas videos of Jack Dorsey, saying that there's more to come, like they basically kicked a sitting president. I don't know if he was sitting at the time, if he was still president at the time, when they kicked him off, or maybe once he wasn't president, they kicked him off. But they did kick off a president of the United States from Twitter because they claimed he was inciting violence, which is, well, you form your own opinion about that. I think it's, personally, I think that's just ridiculous. Considering what is allowed on Twitter, I think it was just a pure divisive move. And I've been watching Twitter stock too, and it's up and down, but I think that they have stock in keeping America divided, because the more outrage there is, it seems like their stock seems to go up, and and the more outrage there is, the more people are glued to Twitter. People get hooked on Twitter like it's going to make a difference if they're out there yelling or out there tweeting at other people and getting in arguments with other people, and as long as they're interacting on Twitter, that's good for Twitter, no matter what the content, right? No matter how rotten, horrible things people are saying to each other, if they're doing it on Twitter, that's good for Twitter. So their stock has not plummeted like some conservatives had said it would happen because they purged the president, right? But what's interesting, and the only reason I'm really talking about this is because Michael Burry, I did not find anyone else saying anything about this, about Michael Burry boycotting Twitter, basically leaving Twitter, but leaving it up. So he got rid of all of his tweets. His tweets are gone. It's a very interesting Twitter, by the way. It's at Michael J. Burry, if you want to look at it. The same one that tweeted, to Elon Musk the other day about Tesla stock. It's just fascinating, but no one has picked up on it yet. That's the only reason I'm talking about it, is because, well, I got to get it out there, and then maybe it'll get traction. So where am I going with this anyway? A prediction. I think that Michael Burry will end up on Parler. So Parler CEOs have said that they'll be up towards the end of the month, right? If there's other places to go. The only reason I say that is because of the Boycott Amazon that's on there. It says Boycott Amazon. That's the only way I can see that being the reason. The Social Empire Order 6660. Okay, he leaves a link. So he leaves a link here to and just go to his Twitter and look at it. He leaves a link, and when you click on it, it goes to for the beginning of the Great Jedi Purge, right? From, I want to say, it was the third episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, right? So the Emperor, I guess, would be, or the Empire would be Twitter and Facebook, and purging of who's being purged. Well, the conservatives are being purged. So, and I never really knew Michael Burry to be necessarily political, or even, I had no idea what his political leaning would be, but apparently he seems to lean right, and I sympathize because I lean right, and I've gotten plenty of shit for that. Just for leaning right, not for being a wingnut. I mean, called a wingnut just for leaning right, but that's the world we're in these days. You're either way over there or way over there. And it shows the So he links to this, and he got rid of all of his tweets. And I just think that's really interesting. I think it's really important. I could not find any information on this. The most recent information I could find on the gentleman was the thing about him shorting Tesla stock and leaving California. Well, I gotta say, I gotta have a newfound appreciation for some of the people that I follow that do the kind of thing I'm doing right now. Because it's kind of hard, and I've been drinking. Oh. Well, Michael J. Burry, the man who predicted the housing market crash, has asked for a boycott of Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. He doesn't have a YouTube presence. He doesn't have any other social media presence that I'm aware of. Let me know if you know. But I do predict that he will be back on Parler. He will come back and he'll be back on Parler if he's not already investing in it. It'll be interesting to see what he has to say after what I've discovered. I'm sure other people have discovered it, but no one's talked about it yet. No one has said a word about this, and I think it's kind of important. So, I would like and subscribe. I mean, if that matters, hit the bell. Gotta ring my bell. Most of these will be pretty loaded. The Critical Drinker, a shout out to that. Oof. Great YouTube channel, The Critical Drinker. That guy. It's funny, way funnier than me. Hats off. I gotta get up and put a hat on just to take it off. It seems silly. Yeah, but it's at Michael J. Burry on Twitter. Currently his name is Cassandra. I don't know if that was what it was before. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. It's just, to me, it's really fascinating, and it should be part of the conversation, because there's a lot to be said about kicking a bunch of conservatives off of Twitter for having mainstream conservative views. I mean, what do they say? At first, they came for Alex Jones. Not a particular Alex Jones fan, but I'm aware of his work. It's a free country. What's so annoying about it is, they allow everyone to build up their platform, right? Everyone's invited. Please come join our platform, and they push it and they push it and they push it on everyone. People start joining it. It gets so big, and they're like, well, we're big enough to where we can cut off this group of people, like late night talk shows. Late night talk shows, all of them, as far as I know, these days. It wasn't like that in the 80s and 90s. But these days, all of them lean left. They have enough people in this country, 150 million people, who lean left, and that's enough people to sustain their audience base. They only have to talk to half the country. They only need to talk to half the country. Okay? I don't know if the right even has an equivalent when it comes to talk shows. It'd be more like podcasts. Ben Shapiro is probably a big one, where there's like on the right, and then on the left would be every other talk show host. Not the Ben Shapiro's a talk show host, but you get the idea. And then I think Twitter's got to that point. Twitter has decided they're big enough they can cut off. Maybe it's an 80-20 situation where 80% are liberal on Twitter, and 20% are conservative or openly conservative, and people can still be closet conservative on Twitter. But you cut that in half, and then you can still maintain a massive business. You can still maintain, your influence, your business model by purging 20%, right? And then when that's what messed up, is when they try to go somewhere else, they're like, well, let's go over to Parler. They understand free speech as a principle. And then Amazon's like, well, pull the plug on that, right? Pull the plug on that. So, again, referring back to his page, his profile description to ban Amazon. Is that what he says? Amazon? Boycott Amazon, boycott Facebook and Instagram. Hashtag I tweet if needed. So he left it open as if he might tweet if needed. But it's really interesting to me. This is he's kind of a hero when there are no heroes around in a weird way. Hard to describe my feelings about Michael J. Burry. I think he's just wicked smart. Has his small niche in society where he fits. People about his personal mental profile. I don't know. He seems a little weird, but I get that. I'm a little weird too. You're a little weird just for watching this. Watching some drunk guy who happened to discover this, apparently. And I was sober when I discovered this. And I started thinking about making a video, and it gave me anxiety. So I thought I should start drinking. And boy, howdy, did I. So here we are. I don't really want to stop. I'm kind of enjoying it. Feels like I'm in a session with my shrink, which I don't have. You're my shrink now. Ooh, poor you. So what else about this? It's a big move by a fairly influential person. I don't know. I guess give me some of your thoughts. I want to know if anyone else has picked up on this. If anyone else has picked up on Michael J. Burry. Actually, I know a guy that's got a pretty substantial internet following podcast. I might bring this his way just to get traction on it, because when I got a little channel, this is like one of my 4 channels. I mean, I don't want to throw my personal opinion into I'm gonna fix my hair on this. Oh, let's see, it's backwards. Who's that wonky? Beautiful. Get you back there with the rest of them, mister. Go there. Get on there, you fucking motherfucker. See, now I'm looking at myself now, and I just get all freaked out. Okay, but I might try and feed it to him. I think I worked with him years ago, and I got a little bit of a scoop, you could say. Because to me it was a scoop, and that's the only reason I'm doing this video. If you're still watching this, I have no idea why. Because now I'm rambling. If you like the rambling, well, why don't you leave a comment below, and we'll just do some random rambling videos. Or I just ramble. Because I can get drunk and ramble. Probably get canceled real quick, too. But I can remember where I'm at. I can censor myself better than anybody, man. Come on, man. America.